Carol, the presentation is yours.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning. I'm Carol Christensen, HGAR 2021 Westchester Regional Director and the 2021 RPAC Co-Chair. Welcome to our first Westchester Regional meeting. Today's program is the first of 4 to be scheduled in 2021. Our next program will be in June, so please stay tuned. Our program events are all about you, the members of HGAR. Your input is essential for us to do a really good job to help you. This morning's program features Crystal Hawkins-Sisker, our HGAR 2021 president. Crystal will present her vision for this year, the American Promise. She will also address Westchester County Association and HGAR's Fair Housing Challenge. Anthony Diamantati, my RPAC partner and 2021 co-chair, will speak about the importance of RPAC. Leah Carroll, co-chair for the Legislative Committee, will speak about the legislative initiatives for 2021 and a very important call for action regarding co-ops. Gail Fatizzi, our 2021 HGAR immediate past presidents, will speak about the 2021-2022 Leadership Accelerator Program. Please use the question and answer buttons at the bottom of your screens. Ask any questions along the way. We will conclude the meeting by answering the questions you post. Thank you. I will now turn the program over to our 2021 HGAR President, Crystal Hawkins-Sisker. Thank you, Chris.
Well, thank you so very much, Carol. And I also want to thank you so much for your leadership and stepping up. You're a great volunteer and a great example of what we want in terms of our members. So welcome all of you to this regional meeting of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. And I really want to say the same to all of you. Each and every one of you is an integral part of our association. You represent us. You represent us in our industry. You represent us in the community. You represent us in your personal lives. And I want none of us to take that for granted. We need you. And thank you so much for attending. You know, I'm asking you this year to join me in a vision for our association and our industry at large. In terms of being stewards of the American promise. So when we speak about this notion or my vision of American promise, it comes back down to what we are and who we are as Americans. It's the access to opportunities. It's the access to health, to education, wealth. And when we look at other parts of the world, not only is this not necessarily easy, it may simply be unavailable, or because of the war and strife and turmoil existing in many parts of the world, it's not even a notion. People don't even aspire that far because they believe that the system around them is so broken and controlled that these ideas of hopes and dreams, aspirations of what they want to accomplish are diminished. But that is not what we have here. Here, as Americans in these United States of America, we hold the belief that we can achieve anything. Through hard work, endurance, we can be who we want to be. And the opportunities are there. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenging or that there's not going to be competition, but it is a possibility, a mere possibility in our whole energy and experience of being a part of this country. And we also believe that there cannot be any design by our government or by our citizens that would inhibit or stifle anyone's aspirations or dreams. That we would present no roadblocks. But we've been calling this the American dream for a very long time. And I want us to think about what that word dream means, okay? One of the things about dreams is that they may not be realistic, right? They may or may not come true. The other thing is that you have to be asleep to dream. So that's why it should no longer be called a dream, because it also gives us a way out to say, okay, well, your dreams didn't come true, at least you tried. No, we need to shift our mindset and our actions to call it the American promise. And this is the vision I want you to share with me. You know, a promise is defined as to render assurance to someone that one will definitely do or give or arrange something or undertake or declare something that will happen. Okay, it's an assurance. This is gonna happen. And everything that you do in your energies, your thoughts, your actions would support the conclusion of this being realized. So we are central to the American promise as real estate agents. Earning a living, the freedom to choose where you want to live, the right to own land is at the heart of our ideals. Building wealth and equity for our life's work, for us and our families to leave a legacy, we are part of that. So my vision for the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors is that we fulfill the American promise in the following ways. One would be through education. We must adopt new skills, mindsets, and values. We also need to understand the history and areas of improvement in our industry of real estate so that we're not simply replicators, but we're innovators and positive actors. So this would also mean the promotion and attention be given to educational opportunities that are provided for us through the National Association of Realtors, through the New York State Association of Realtors, and also programming and teaching available and being produced by the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. Through also to the second way that I want us all to embody the American promise is through the adoption of servant leadership, okay? So I wanna actually take a moment to give pause that there may be those who are sensitive to the word servant for real reasons, for valid reasons. But I like us to actually shift and think about what else is possible for that word. Now, I'm not talking about being a servant, which means that you are inferior to others, right? That somehow you should genuflect, bow down to those around you. That's not what servant leadership is about. Servant leadership is a different motivator where it's not about getting compliance from other people, but it's helping get consensus to the work. Looking at others and helping build them up to be stronger, that we all rise and lift together. Not necessarily sort of use people around us to leverage ourselves, but using the strengths within us to raise and develop everyone around us so that we are a greater force for good, for every good intention that we have in making our industry and community better. That's what I'm looking at. It means that you start to look at others and your worldview is what is important to those around me? How can I help bring the best out of them? How can I help them feel psychologically safe around me, to be their best selves, to be vulnerable, but believe that someone else is going to be there to make them stronger? That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of leaders we need. And this is instrumental in fulfilling that American promise. Because essentially, if it doesn't work for everybody, then we have to then question what it is that we're pursuing. How do we help everyone? Now, it doesn't mean that there's not special needs of certain groups that will have to be given attention to, but that's the point. It's looking at the needs of others and then starting to internalize and have a certain amount of empathy that translates into action. Also too, okay, I want to increase the visibility of our association in our geographic locations. And this would be through our communities, through our local boards, through local government, state legislatures, social media, and TV. And I need all of you. They need to see the story of us, that we're not just transactors selling homes. Sometimes in our industry, we're put on the level of those who are like salespeople, like selling cars. But what we do is way more noble and important than that. And I want our community to see us as actors for the betterment of all, especially when it comes to homeowner rights and tenancy, that we embody those values that allows everyone to choose where they want to live. And the last way in which we want, or I would like us to work forward in achieving and being a part of the American promise is through diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I want to just define those terms really quickly so that you can understand the full breadth of what we're trying to accomplish here, or what we want to achieve. Now, diversity is the range of human differences, which is including, but not limited to, race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, social class, your physical ability or attributes, religious or ethical value systems, national origin, and your political beliefs, okay? Equity is the absence of avoidable or remediable differences amongst groups of people, whether those groups are defined socially, economically, demographically, or geographically. And then inclusion means that all people, regardless of their abilities, disabilities, or background, their social status, race, religion, creed, and more, have the right to be present, to be respected, to be appreciated, to be valued. So please join me in working together to make the American promise real. Let's show the world our role in these United States of America by highlighting power, education, a force for good, and everything that it means to truly be an American. So right to you, Carol.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Crystal. That was beautiful and from your heart, and thank you. We truly appreciate your words. Anthony, please talk about RPAC. It's very important to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. Once again, it's Anthony Domathodi, and I'm honored to be the co-chair with the fabulous Carol Christensen this year. And just following what Crystal talked about, for 50 years, realtors have invested in RPAC to shape and grow the real estate market. A market where, I just lost my screen. Give me 1 second. Thank you. Right. A market where nearly 2/3 of American families realize the dream of homeownership. Only 2/3. I think we are on the cusp of something very, very significant. All of the dialogue that's going on in the community today and in society and in the parliaments and in the legislature, there is a lot of discussion about equality. There's a lot of discussion about transparency, and there's a lot of discussion about diversity and inclusion. All this is great, but at the same time, our industry is under constant threat. So it's important that we do our part to invest in RPAC each year. Some of you may not know what RPAC is. RPAC is simply your line of defense in real estate industry. Our mission is to protect you, your business, and your clients. And as a realtor, you need someone to safeguard and protect your business and your interests, as well as of those of homeownership, against threats that you can't see coming. So given all of that, as a realtor, RPAC defends you from bad policy at state capitol and city hall by working with realtor champion politicians regardless of their political party. So this is an invitation to you to join us to make our voices heard. So they are heard by lawmakers whose decisions affect our industry. What do we primarily do? We raise money through RPAC contributions to support candidates who support realtors and real estate issues, both on state and on Capitol Hill. I urge you, do not wait. RPAC is not the Republican Party. It's not the Democratic Party. It's your realtor party. On issue after issue, RPAC advanced the realtor point of view, and together we are continuing to build a strong foundation for the future. It's no wonder we are #1 PAC in America, or PAC as we call it, and we own that distinction to our passion, a passion for our profession as realtors, our communities, and our clients. So on your screen right now, you will see some of the activities and events that we have in place for you. We have auctions going on. Check out the RPAC Facebook group, which is a private group. And there are some live auction items on that group. And the next auction item is going to be a gift certificate to the spa. There is a beautiful iPad and also a headshot gift certificate worth $100. It's beautiful. These are the opportunities where you can invest and you can make your contribution that counts. But at the same time, can we go to the next slide? Every investment, every dollar that you make counts, and we do have an honor roll. And in that honor roll, your name will be displayed not only on the RPAC page, but also on the in Real Estate In-Depth magazine. So where can I find information on RPAC? Well, you have to go to #1 on our Hudson Gateway page. There's an advocacy link, and that link talks about what RPAC is all about and what are our annual goals and what is the status of the goals that we've reached so far. Not only that, there is a private Facebook page where you will need your NERDS number to register and to be a part of what's happening with RPAC. Not only that, our magazine and our newspaper, Real Estate In-Depth, you have beautiful articles that talk about what's happening in the legislature. And there's a widened column that comes out monthly and pretty much at the daily update that goes out every day. And I'm sure you're getting those emails that talk about all the recent developments and things that you should know and things that you should be aware of. With that, I'm going to urge you to make a contribution. I am honored to be a co-chair and represent RPAC, not just for Hudson Gateway, but for the realtor community as a whole, because we need you and our voices need to be heard. And I hope you join us. And I'm going to turn it over to Carol.
Thank you. I guess we're having some technical difficulties with our slides, but we did have a great slide presentation. So hopefully they could come back on. But now I'm going to turn it over to Leah, and Leah will talk to you about what is going on with our legislative initiatives. Thank you, Leah.
Thanks, Carol, and thanks, Anthony. I am Leah Carroll, one of the chairs of the HGAR Legislative Committee. We are charged with keeping our eyes and ears open at the state, county, and local levels for any legislation that affects you, your clients, homeowners, either positively or negatively. We are nonpartisan, as Anthony pointed out, and we build relationships with elected officials, primarily through RPAC funding, to convey why we support or oppose certain bills that affect us. And of course, we stay in our lane and take our positions on items related to real estate only. NYSAR, the New York State Association of Realtors, has just published its 2021 legislative priorities, and I would like to point out some of the key topics that affect us in Westchester. We support amending the Housing Stability and Tenant Protection Act of 2019, which, as you know, has provisions about security deposits and other rules that have created unintended consequences. We oppose good cause eviction, a sweeping bill that would limit how, why, and when a landlord could ask a tenant to vacate a property. We find it overly restrictive in a state with some of the strongest tenant protections already, and fear it will stifle investment in rental housing. Of course, we continue to support first-time homebuyer savings accounts and other home buying incentives, including affordable and attainable housing development through tax and zoning initiatives. And as you know, I think you must know, in the wake of the Long Island Fair Housing investigation, a dozen or more fair housing related bills have been written, and we wholeheartedly support the vast majority of them. Actually, in fact, there's one we oppose, which deals with an agent's role in gathering demographic data about our clients. But other than that, we fully support the fair housing legislation. Many of the bills include increasing the number of fair housing hours to renew your CE or to renew your license. We support raising funding for fair housing testing and the inclusion of implicit bias training in continuing education. And at the state level, we also support the bill, which seeks to ensure transparency and fairness in the co-op purchase, which actually segues beautifully to the topic of our Westchester County initiative. For decades, and I say decades, I literally mean decades, 20 or more years, decades, we have fought and sought to help create a law by which co-ops would have to give a written reason for declining an applicant. And in December of 2018, a law was passed that required co-op boards to act in a timely fashion regarding processing applications and interviewing candidates, and to report all of those declinations to the Westchester County Human Rights Commission. In theory, it was a good idea. We had a hard time getting statistical data about the number of declinations, so that part of it has been helpful to us. And some of the statistics you might find interesting. We've learned that since the law went into effect, there have been nearly 500 declinations in co-op housing. That's about 15% of all co-op sales. Think of it this way. Imagine if 15% of single family home sales didn't close and you didn't know why. So while we're pleased that some legislation was passed, it failed to include some critical pieces that we've been fighting for, like more comprehensive data to be collected by the Human Rights Commission, like the buyer's name and their contact info. Also, some sort of penalty for boards failing to act within the 60-day allotted time period. And of course, the written reason for the declination. Recently, a county legislator and realtor, Catherine Borgia, reintroduced a bill that would require boards to give a written reason. The legislation is in committee, and now we need your help. By the end of this week, you'll receive a call for action from NYSAR on behalf of HGAR. By filling in just a few blanks and just a couple of clicks, you'll be able to send your county legislator our position paper supporting this bill. Please do it. We've come so far, and our goal is in sight, but we need all of you to take action and let the legislators know that the time is now to pass this law and to further fair and affordable housing. So with that, I turn the program back over to President Crystal to tell you about an important part of our work toward fairness in co-op sales. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Leah. As she stressed, we need your help. In addition to responding to the call for action that you will receive from NYSAR that will be sent to our county legislators, we also need real life stories of the purchasers and sellers involved in co-op transactions. You see, it's one part to hear from us as the realtor, but to hear from their actual constituents involved in the transaction and not knowing why a person was rejected and still experiencing unreasonable timetables in having their applications processed, we need to hear them. Did you have a client who may have had declination after declination and it caused a financial hardship on them in terms of maintaining their co-op? We need that story. How about the well-qualified buyer that we check their debt to income ratio. They had plenty of reserves. Maybe it was even a cash transaction, and yet they were denied. Why? We need that story. So we're asking you to talk to your clients and customers to see who would be willing to come forward and either give a video presentation or a written story of their own narrative of what happened. Because see, that is what is going to make a real difference in the minds and the hearts of those who are the legislators who need to decide on this very important topic. Please help us in being a part of that charge. I'd like to turn the meeting back over.
Crystal, can I chime in on that?
Yes, you
you.
can.
One of the other reasons why this call to action that hopefully will be out this week is so important is because there are other entities that are opposed to this. Quite frankly, management companies are opposed to this, and they're mailing all of the shareholders in the co-ops saying you will get sued. They're just feeding them erroneous information. Quite frankly, if co-ops do the right thing, there's no liability for the co-op. It's only if they are not doing the right thing that they've got a liability, and they should be held accountable. But this is not an issue where we can stay on the sidelines. Every single one of you is affected by this. Even if you do not actively engage in working with co-ops, there are buyers that may not be able to climb up that ladder and buy a single family home. Co-ops are really the entry point for so many home purchasers in this county, in Westchester County. And as Crystal so eloquently said, it's a big component of the American promise. So none of us can afford to sit on the sidelines with this issue. We have to really aggressively express our point of view to the County Board of Legislators. So please, when you get that call to action, it really is important for you to take action and for you to share that call to action with other Westchester County residents. It's not just members who can fill out that call to action. Residents in Westchester County can as well.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard and Crystal. I'd like to turn it over to Gail Fatizzi, our 2021 immediate past president. And Gail, will you please take the floor? Thank you.
Thanks very much, Carol. And good morning, HGAR members. So as president of HGAR in 2020, one of the initiatives that I was most excited by last year was the creation and launch of our first ever Leadership Accelerator program. So I'm always excited to talk about this program. It came about as part of our strategic plan for the association. When we did the strategic plan, we identified 5 pillars that we wanted to focus on. And one of those pillars is leadership. And within that pillar, we specifically identified the following goal. And that goal reads, identify, cultivate, and support future leaders, visionaries, and implementers. And it really was our recognition that for us to remain a relevant and vibrant organization, we need to create a path to introduce new leadership, new ideas, and different approaches to help shape the future of HGAR. And one of the things I realized in envisioning this program, and I've shared this with many people, was that it probably took me at least 10 years of volunteering at HGAR to really start to understand fully the organization, who does what, how it all integrates with NAR, NISAR, RPAC, how all of those things are intertwined and complement each other. And I knew that we didn't have 10 years to develop new leadership before they'd be ready to step up. And we needed to have that happen much sooner. So one of the great benefits of this program that we put together is it gives members of our association who want to become more involved and to acquire those strong leadership skills along the way, the path to do that. This program helps develop leadership skills that will benefit participants, not just in our industry, but in life in general. So it's helping the participants to create an understanding at a higher level of the workings of the association and giving them a path to get involved at any level and not feel overwhelmed by the depth of our association and what they're getting into. It's a lot to think about, and we're a big organization, and we want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable jumping in and getting involved where they want to be. So our inaugural class of the Leadership Accelerator program started in September 2020, and the participants are on their way to graduating this June. The program is a 10-month commitment, and we have 12 participants who were selected from about 25 applicants last year. We have in the 10 sessions a wide variety of topics that are covered, everything from leadership development skills, legislative activism, public speaking, economic development for our area, diversity, equity, inclusion, and a number of other topics. The program also does require that the participants work on a class project, which they're in the process of doing, and we're very excited about the project that they've chosen. It's something that we really anticipate as being a great benefit to the association overall and its members. So once that launches, we will be very happy to share with you what their class project is. And I do want to really recognize this year's class, commend them for all that they've been able to do virtually. When we designed the program, we of course had envisioned it as a live program, and that just wasn't possible this year. So everything that the participants have done this year, they've done virtually. And there's something definitely to be said for that. And our hope next year is that we're going to be able to have a mix of sessions that will be some live and some virtual. So we are starting to plan for our 2021 to 22 program. It will start in September and run through June. And the first step of that is an information session that's going to be held on May 6th. We will be doing that virtually, so you don't have to travel anywhere. It'll be about an hour, and we'll be putting out more information about that. And we would encourage everyone who may be interested in learning more about the Leadership Accelerator program to join us for that information session. We'll provide all the details about the program, what's involved, what the commitment is. Hopefully we'll let you hear from some of this year's participants about what they've gotten to do and what they've gotten out of it. And I will share that this year's participants, I believe that all of them have now accepted various roles in the association, serving on various committees. Some are chairing committees or involved at even a higher level. So I would love, definitely for you to hear from them about how it has been a path for them and what they've taken away. So we hope that some of you on this call today, maybe others that you know in your office, other colleagues, will have an interest in joining us in May to learn more about the program and perhaps even submitting an application for the next class. In the meantime, if anybody would like to learn more before that, I'm happy to speak with anybody that is interested on an individual basis and share more information, answer any of your questions. So we look forward to a great class for next year as well, and hopefully for your attendance on May 6th. And I'm going to turn the floor back over to our President, Crystal.
Okay, excellent. So I think we're moving right along to an initiative that I want to share with you all from the Westchester County Association. So that's a separate entity from us as the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. And they have designed or developed a playbook on the creation of affordable housing. Now, all of you who are on this call, I want you to take a pause. When I say affordable housing, what comes to mind? You know your thoughts and feelings about affordable housing. It is the position of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors to support it, as it is for the betterment of all of us. On Tuesday, May 18th at 10 a.m., I invite you to join this meeting to hear what the WCA has designed. It's a really, really great plan because we don't have enough affordable housing. And if you can just imagine for a moment that a double income family that is making about $75,000 in Westchester would have a hard time finding housing. That's a part of the makeup of who we're talking about here. That's just one component. For some of us, that's maybe our friends and family, or some of us, it may be our children wanting to come back to Westchester and yet are not able to afford to do so. Well, this is a plan that they put together to address that issue. And they're right here in our county. So let us become aware of our partners for the development of housing for all. So please, this panel is coming up. I heard their presentation more than one time, and it did expand my mind and my commitment to help their initiative. To those ends, I also want to talk to you about the Fair Housing Challenge. So the Fair Housing Challenge, which is following in line with the National Association of Realtors direction as outlined by Charlie Oppler, I join him in this same process and goal as your president of the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. So there's 3 parts. One is to complete the Fair Haven Fair Housing Simulation. This is a great video tool that is interactive, that helps you identify moments of discrimination that can come up in our everyday practice of real estate. The second is to view the implicit bias training video, also produced in collaboration with the Mind Institute and the National Association of Realtors. It helps us understand the automatic thinking that all of us have, and to give us the skills and understanding on how to make a proactive, conscious choice to change the way we look at things. And then I strongly, strongly urge all of you to go the extra mile and do the third, which is earn your At Home with Diversity certification. I found this training to be outstanding in real life circumstances, helping us understand the history of real estate, things that have happened that have stifled certain groups. How is it that we can be better practitioners overall in having consistent ways of interacting with the public? It can only help you. And this training is being provided through the National Association of Realtors and NYSAR, of which our association will give you the links and information to participate. The deadline to accomplish this challenge would be April 30th. And to the first 100 of our members who actually complete the Fair Housing Challenge, they will receive a copy of the book, The Color of Law. When you read this book, it will change your whole outlook on our industry and hopefully spurn you more to be proactive in being the stewards that I'm asking you to be in the American Promise. So that deadline, once again, is April 30th. And it's my hope and desire that at least 80% of our membership fulfill this challenge. And that is those of us who are in production, working with the public. We need you. Now I'd like to turn it back over to Carol.
Thank you very much, Crystal. I actually did all 3, and I have my office. Hopefully, they're all going to do At Home with Diversity, Fair Haven. We took that, and it's excellent. So thank you for bringing that to everybody's attention, and I hope our participants today do that. So I want to take, so we have some questions on the Q&A. So I don't know if it's going to be Gary, you're going to propose the questions to everybody. Thank you.
Certainly. So one question we have is, how much time and hours are needed to complete the Fair Housing Challenge?
Leah?
Anyone can take that.
Leah?
Leah, if you unmute.
Unmute. You're muted, Leah. All right. At Home with Diversity took me about 7 hours, I think, 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Leah, you're now unmuted.
I know, sorry, guys. The Fairhaven takes about an hour to an hour and a half. The implicit bias takes about 1 hour. And then At Home with Diversity, as Carol points out, is several hours. So it's 1000% doable in the next 30 days.
Absolutely.
Someone is asking about if we can email the link to members on the Fair Housing Training Challenge, and we certainly will. So we will certainly take care of that. Are all 3 Fair Housing Challenge trainings offered on NAR?
Yes.
And the answer is yes. And someone's asking the current ban on telemarketers or cold calling, of which the realtor should not be considered in the first place, is cutting into many of our livelihoods. What is NYSAR doing to support this important practice of the way we conduct business?
Can I take that?
Please.
Okay, I hear you. I don't know who asked that question, but I totally hear you. Because we are not just telemarketers. So we're way more than that. It's a noble calling, as Crystal says. I should tell you that on the NYSAR priorities list, I didn't touch on it because I thought there were other topics that I wanted to get to. It does state right on there, what's wrong with that? Remove restrictions on licensed real estate agents from conducting telemarketing business practices. So NYSAR is aware of the struggle. NYSAR is with us on this and has made it one of their legislative priorities. And I do want to point out, because I didn't get to go to every single point, if you want to see the full NYSAR 2021 legislative priorities, go to nysar.com, click on advocacy, and then click on legislative priorities, and you can see all of them there. Thanks.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you very much, Leah. And that concludes our questions.
I think was there a question about a toolkit for leadership?
I believe that was already answered.
Oh, it was already answered. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Certainly.
great. All right, so our meeting's going to be ending a little bit sooner than what we thought. So that's okay, because everybody's very busy. So there are 2 key dates I would like everyone to please take down. That's April 27th is Lobby Day. Very important. Go on New York State Association of Realtors and please sign up. And the night before is also an escape night for RPAC, and which was a lot of fun. You could do that April 26th. April 29th is HGAR's Fair Housing Summit. That's going to be virtual, so please sign up for that. There will be links for that coming out in the connections and in our emails. So I want to thank our panel and our agents. I want to thank you, Leah, Richard, Anthony, Gail, and Crystal, our presidents, and Gary for everything that you do, and especially Jana Curia. She really helped me a tremendous amount putting this all together and everybody being here. I want to thank everyone. I know, Crystal, if you have any words that you want to end this with, that would be great.
Maybe Crystal could just go into a little detail on what the Fair Housing Summit is going to be.
That would be great. Crystal, can you do that?
Absolutely. So April, as has been stated, is Fair Housing Month. At our Fair Housing Summit, we have 2 key speakers and a phenomenal panel being assembled. 2 of the speakers, one of the speakers, author of the book, The Color of Law. I really don't know how to tell you all any more than I have already, is that this book will change your life. It will. Because once you understand some of the dynamics that have gone into the shaping of real estate in our country, you can't help but to actually take a position. And I'm urging all of you to take the positive one to help be advocators for positive change here. He will be speaking to us on that topic of his book, and it's going to be a true educational moment. In addition, Bill Dedman, who was the New York Newsday investigator who uncovered, Long Island Divided, he's going to be there. He's going to talk to us about the investigation, what prompted it, what they learned, and essentially how to be actually allies with us as we continue to change our industry and raise the bar in our behavior as practitioners and support fair housing. A panel is also being put together by our Fair Housing Committee, which is being led by Tana McGuire and Lynette Brown. It is going to help us look at some of the many groups that are suffering from discrimination. One huge group has to do with a source of income. Others are with disability. please be here. It's indispensable in understanding some of the challenges that our community is facing when it comes to housing, and is going to help us to be more compassionate and better agents in the overall practice of real estate.
Thank you, Crystal. And I just want to end this. This is something that I feel very passionate about. We are not just realtors. We help our communities. We just don't sell houses. We are here for our towns, our communities. Our foundation, we give to charities. We are so important. And I'm always doing this with RPAC. Anthony's best words and best line is, as far as RPAC is concerned, it's not the Republican Party, it's not the Democrat Party, it's the Realtor Party, it's your party. Please be involved, ask us any questions, we're here for you. And we just want our organization to continue to be as great as it is. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day, have a happy holiday. And I'll see everybody in June. We'll be planning a panel, I believe, in June. Thank you again and have a great day. Bye.